Hey guys, so I'm going to show you guys how I contour. First I start off with my Josie Marin Argan Oil as a hydrating base, and I use my Dream Skin from Dior as primer. And I have two different foundations from Nars. It's the Ultra All Day Luminous, I believe. And I'm mixing two colors because I'm like literally right in between, like tanning. It's like kind of fading, kind of not. So here I am just mixing them on the back of my hand. And then I go in with my Real Techniques stippling brush. Super cheap, you can get it at Walmart, Lawton's. It's one of my all-time favorite brushes. So I like to kind of spread it out along my face first, kind of embarrassing how tan the foundation is and how pale my face is, but we're just going to ignore that. So I'm just applying it in buffing motions, always either like buffing and going down, never going towards the inside of the face, making sure I get everywhere around the nose, under the eyes, and I like to make sure I go along the jawline too so that there's no different color. Even if the color's perfect, you might notice a texture difference, so I still buff along my jaw always. Make sure I get it into my hairline so everything is totally perfect. And I'm still going, and I'm still going. Rebecca, you're almost done. Going over my eyes, kind of what's left. There we go, I should be almost done. Okay, and now I'm grabbing my Algenist color corrector. They're super thin and liquidy, and I'm popping that under my eyes. Just because when you're highlighting under the eyes, you want to make sure everything is totally corrected, because if you put something really light under the eyes, it ends up looking like extra light if it's on top of purple, and it just looks super off. So I'm just making sure that that is totally covered up. Just a little bit of orange just to color correct the blue purple tones under the eyes. Nothing heavy at all. You can see it's like super chic. You can almost barely tell that it's there. We don't want to do anything that's like bright orange under the eyes if we don't have to. So after that's popped in there, I'm going to take my Anastasia concealer. It's in the shade 0.5. Just picked this up the other day and I'm loving it so far. It's super creamy and it's only, I think, like 25 bucks. It's awesome. And then I'm going in with my Pro Flat Concealer number 76 brush from Sephora. Just applying that under my eyes. I like to apply most of the product under my eyes because I blend it quite a bit, so I want to make sure it's still pretty fair. Yeah, so going along, you can kind of, it's almost in like little triangle shapes under the eyes. So you want to bring it down almost just about to the edge of the nose. I pop a little on my chin, a little on the cupid's bow. I go straight down the center of my nose as well. And then a little on the forehead, and you want to do it for your face shape. So if you have a really small forehead, you could probably highlight a little bit more than I did to make it look larger. If you have a larger forehead, I probably wouldn't highlight at all or just a small amount. So wherever you're highlighting, you're bringing forward, you're making bigger. So just keep that in mind while you're doing this. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. Do what's best for your face shape. So I think that looks pretty good. And by the way, I already have my brows done. I use the Hourglass Platinum Blonde Brow Pencil along with my taupe Anastasia powder. Now we're going in with the Anastasia Cream Contour because you can see her products are bomb. And then I'm going in with my Graphobian, just a flat foundation brush to apply my cream contour. And I'm kind of smiling so I can see the little divots in my cheek so I know where to bring it to. So I'm taking it from the top of my ear down towards the corner of my mouth. Dusting a little in my hairline just to give a little bit of contour up there. Again, if you have a small forehead, I wouldn't contour up there because it's going to make it appear smaller. And then I'm adding a little bit along my jawline just for extra definition. You can always contour your neck as well if that's something you want to do. And then I pop just a tiny bit along my nose, just makes it thinned out a little bit. A little on the end of my nose makes it look a little bit shorter. There we go. So you can see the final kind of swatches on the skin. And then I'm going back in with that same Real Techniques stippling foundation brush, and I start with the highlights. I always start with under my eyes because I want to make sure that's blended out first, because if we start with the chin, we're going to end up blending the contour into the highlight and it's going to get really muddy. So I try to do the highlights first. Again, I'm just patting. I'm not doing a ton of buffing because I want to keep the coverage of the concealer in my eyes. And then we're buffing on the chin, along the jawline there. Make sure that's blended out. I always do this like third because for some reason I've gone out and I've totally forgot to buff in my jaw contour, and that's not cute. So we want to make sure that we do that. And I buff my nose, buff my forehead, and I'm kind of doing it strategically. I'm not just like going in aimlessly buffing it out. So I'm doing it kind of in little sections so you can see, and then I'm making sure it's buffed straight in my hairline because you want it to look like a shadow. You don't want it to look like it stops right before your hairline. Looks very natural. And I always leave my my cheekbones for last. So I like to go back and forth first, and that kind of like diffuses the product a little bit, and then I'm pushing it up. So I'm pushing it up because we want to create a lift with the cheek. If we start doing it down or in a lot of circular motions, it's going to, again, look muddy. It's going to drain your cheekbone down. You're not going to get the look that you're going for. So again, buffing it out to diffuse it and then pushing the product up is going to give you that lifted, contoured look. And then I go back in with a little bit more because I feel like it's not intense as I want. Again, you can always go back on top with a powder contour too if that's something that you want to do. So I'm just taking whatever's left on my brush, just adding a little tiny bit of extra definition. And then we're buffing it out again with the same Real Techniques brush. So just blending. And then I think that looks good. So now you can see my face is a little bit, it's almost like smoother looking. It has dimension. And that's what you want with your contouring. You want it to look flawless. You don't want it to look like you have contour on, unless that's what you want. I mean, power to you, because I know some days I do that. So now I'm going in with my Laura Mercier setting powder. It's just a translucent, a clear powder. It has no color, although it looks a little bit on the white-yellow side. And I'm going with my Laura Mercier powder puff. You can use a brush if you want, and I pick up a lot of that. So I just pack that on there. Popping that under my eyes, make sure the concealer's set. If you put a lot of this on, it does highlight a slight bit. So that's why I'm putting a ton on where I'm highlighted, and then I just kind of take whatever's left in the powder puff and just beat that face. Pushing everything in, making sure all my liquids are set. So you definitely want to do this before you put any other powder products on. So all creams, all liquids first, and then you apply your setting powder, which could be clear. It could be colored. I prefer a clear one. And then you go in with any powder products after that. So now I'm using my Sephora Collection bronzer, and I believe it is in the shade, so you couldn't see that. It's in the shade 2 Maui. It has a little bit of a shimmer in it. I'm just adding that to my cheeks, a little extra definition. Now you could skip this step, or you could do this step and add a powder contour as well if you want to go that extra step further. So I just like to be a super bronzed, so that's what I'm doing now, adding it into my cheeks, and then we go along the forehead. Okay, Rebecca, yep, that's enough, okay. So now we're going into our forehead. And you can see already how it's adding more definition than we had before. I just really like using a cream as a base because I find it looks... Ooh, somebody's texting me, popular. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Okay, so now we are using Nars Deep Throat Blush, my all-time favorite blush of life. If you don't have this, go to Sephora, get it tried on you, and buy it. It is flattering for everyone. It's just this super nice, light kind of pinky. It's slightly peachy, but it's more on the pink side than anything. It has a little tiny bit of glow in it, no chunks of glitter or anything like that. You can see it looks really natural. So then we're going with my favorite part, highlight. So we're using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in the bronze one. And we're using a little fluffy blending brush from Morphe, M510, and we're using our Makeup Forever Mist and Fix. So Mist and Fix is a setting spray. You can use whatever you like. So I'm using those two colors there. And then I'm misting my brush, and the reason I'm doing that is because it's going to make the powder a little bit more long wearing. It's also going to pick up a ton more product, make that highlight super intense, because everyone knows that I like to have a mirror on my face. I don't want anything subtle. I don't want a natural highlight. I want it to be a mirror. Okay, So I'm just buffing that in. You can see it's already starting to pick up, and then I just keep on putting it on. I just layer, layer, layer. You can put on like 5 different highlights if you want. You can put on one. You can put on an eyeshadow, whatever is your preference. And then I was just misting my brush again to re-wet it. So the Mist and Fix kind of like locks it down, makes it look more of almost like a cream product, doesn't look as powdery. And I highlight my Cupid's bow, a little on my chin, a tiny bit on my bridge of my nose. And then I do above my brows, and then center of my forehead. And then of course I'm going back in because it's obviously not highlight enough. And then I think I'm good. Nope, 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 we're still going. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So you can see we're glowing for the gods. And now I'm just finishing off with my Mist and Fix so I don't look like powdery. I look real nice. Oh yes, oh yeah, look at all that. Okay, and that's the finished look. I have obviously no eyeshadow nor lip color on, just got my brows and my complexion done. So thanks for watching. If you want to see more, let me know because I will do that for you. Bye!